Next on Deck with Tim Black.
Deport them where? Do you have an agreement with the countries that they came from? How do you even know what countries they came from? So you're going to hire personnel?
You done jumped out the gym. You done used black suffering, black pain, black civil rights struggle, all that shit to help every group in America. Now you want to help people that ain't even American. Al Sharpton has some choice words for Donald Trump in the border issue. And here he is making them, and then I'll have something to say. How about that?
But even the logistics of what he's talking about, he has not really laid out. Yes, it would cost $1 trillion, but you're going to deport them where? Do you have an agreement with the countries that they came from? How do you even know what countries they came from? So you're going to hire personnel to track down, do you come from Mexico? Do you come from Ecuador? I mean, the logistics of doing this is ridiculous because it will cost super money, take super time, and you have not worked out an agreement. You can't just put people on a plane and land in some other country's field without having clearance there while you're talking about tariffs against Mexico at the same time. So I think that if Trump's own supporters understood how loosely this was thrown together with no thought, they would have to say, wait a minute, and we're going to blow $1 trillion and really not be able to execute this.
Well, and just the idea of moving 11 million human beings. Are they on trains? Are they on buses? Who would they get off, and what happens?
And to house them,
for the babies? I mean,
house them, who's going to pay for the housing? Or who's going to guard them? Where's security? I mean, the enormous expense of this, I don't think anyone has realistically talked about it. He's just throwing things against the wall.
Okay, so check this out, guys. So I thought about this, and I said, wow, you know, it is amazing that Al Sharpton, the guy who seems like he takes up all this money, who got, I don't know, how much was it? Was it $500,000 from Kamala Harris's campaign for black people? He's supposed to be the black person advocate for the last 50 years. This is what this guy does. And what is he spending most of his time doing? What's he been doing? Now, notice this with the Congressional Black Caucus as well. Much of their advocacy is for the immigrant community, not for the black community. Yeah, I noticed that when the Jewish community, when their spokespeople, like their organizations and the people that are advocating on behalf of Jewish Americans, and this is no shade to them at all, they stay advocating for Jewish Americans. Yeah, they don't sort of conflate the two. I'm not saying they wouldn't assist or they wouldn't add to a conversation that was being had about other groups, but they don't do what Al Sharpton's doing. In this video, Al Sharpton is making all these points about why Donald Trump should not deport people that are here illegally. And saying, why would we spend money removing people who are here illegally? So he's saying, why would we spend money? We spend money jailing black people daily who break any type of law, right? We spend time, and white Americans and all Americans go to jail when they break laws. There is a repercussion for when you violate an ordinance, a state ordinance, say federal law or whatever. There is something for that. It's called jail. It's called court. It's called the justice system. Okay, so when people are here illegally, what would be the remedy for that? Al's making it sound like there should be nothing. And I just want to point out the horrific hypocrisy that we have black organizations that are supposed to be advocating for black Americans that continually spend a lot of their time and their credibility, expend a lot of political capital, raise their voice the most, and put their most base in their voice, not advocating for black Americans, but advocating for other people, and in this case, people who are not even Americans. Now, I think it would be different if they were advocating for people in other countries who are suffering under whatever regimes or whatever is happening in those countries, if you have the bandwidth to have that focus. But when you take money that is meant for organizations domestically that assist black Americans, when you are part of what is the name of it? The Nation Action Network or whatever. Al Sharpton puts himself up like he's an advocate for Black Americans. He won't be this voice. We see him ambulance chasing him and Ben Crump. Every Black issue, every time someone Black is killed by cops, here he is running around talking about he's advocating for Black Americans. He's been the front man from everybody from Obama to the Clintons to the Bidens. He's been like for four Democratic presidencies. This guy's been out front with his hand out, looking like he's supposed to be the guy you go to for Black people when there's Black issues. And what's he doing? He's not up here advocating in the best interest of Black Americans. Anybody, look, this border issue, immigration, have that conversation. I'm all for us having that conversation. And once again, I do not have a problem with people advocating for people outside of the United States. I feel that is good work. I don't do it. I'm focused on domestic politics, U.S. politics. I'm straight up and honest about that. I do not have I do not have qualms with people who do something different. But when you operate, take money, hold yourself out to be this person fighting for Black Americans within the United States, and I hear you time and time again. And yes, I'm talking about the Congressional Black Caucus. Yes, I'm talking about Al Sharpton. And I hear you jumping out the gym, coming up with all types of reasons why we should not have people that are illegally in this country sit back to where their country, because we don't know where their country at. Or we can find it. We can find who that is. Is that in the best interest of Black Americans, or who's that in the best interest of? See, when I hear Latino groups and when they're advocating for what's best for their people, they're not thinking about what's best for Black Americans. They're thinking about what's best for their group. I think all these groups advocate for what's best for their group that they are there to advocate for. Al Sharpton has not been picking up money for everybody. He's been picking up money saying he's a Black guy. They're here to advocate for Black Americans. This don't sound like advocating for Black Americans. I ain't hear no Black Americans and nothing that guy had to say. What I heard was him saying Trump wrong because he wanted to deport people because those people may be inconvenienced. Well, if you broke in, if you illegally gained entry to a place, and then you are asked to leave, how is that somehow persecution? Now, we're going to talk about people being separated. The most separated group of people in this country from their families and loved ones will be the Black American. And you were very happy to pick up checks on behalf of that. You were happy to do your marches and act like you were doing something when you walking around with Tawana Briley and the rest of them or whatever issue that you were able to latch your ass on to. You were willing to do that. Al Sharpton, Congressional Black Caucus, and many other Black people that seem to find cover on this issue, hiding behind we a great melting pot. If you're going to pick up money on behalf of Black people and say you are the guy or the woman or the organization that's an advocate for Black Americans, I need you to have your advocacy foremost be for the betterment of Black Americans. LGBTQ organizations, guess what they're doing? Advocating for LGBTQ. Hell, excuse me. Hell, regional organizations. We ain't even got to go race or we don't got to go gender or orientation. There's an organization from Maryland. There are a number of organizations that focus on issues here in my home state of Maryland. You won't have them advocating for South Dakota. I'm not saying they need to demonize South Dakota, but their focus is what? Maryland. Why can't Al keeps Al's focus on Black Americans if that's who Al been picking up money for? If that's who Al has been holding himself out to be an advocate for. See, I'm just tired of the nonsense, the games, and the chicanery that's been exhibited by the Congressional Black Caucus and Al Sharpton. The jig is up, and so is your time. Time is up. It's time for new leadership, new people that can say it with their chest, even if it's unfavorable. People don't like it. People got a problem. Fine, we can have that conversation. But you know what? I will never stop advocating for Black Americans to get their due in this country. And if I'm advocating for us, at least I got the guts and the balls to say I'm advocating for us. That's what I'm doing. That's what this segment's about. And those people that are advocating for immigrants to stay, that's for them to make those arguments. Now for Al Sharpton. So what's happened when Roland Martin, when Al Sharpton, when the Congressional Black Caucus are jumping up and down about border, jumping up and down about deportations, they are showing that their first priority is Democratic Party interest over Black people. They do all this talking, but when a hot button issue like this comes up, you see where they at. Now you want to try to thread the needle and make it seem like when you're fighting for Black Americans, this is a part of it. No, it's not a part of it. How are you fighting for Black Americans if you're fighting for people that are not American citizens? Make that make sense to me. Make it make sense. How are you going to say you advocated for Black Americans when you're advocating for people that are not American citizens? That ain't a big, that's not an astronomical bar to cross. Black American, real simple. All the other groups that advocate for those groups, who hold themselves out as that, one more time, all those other people, all those other organizations, for them to have a one-track mind is not seen as, nothing negative is seen with that. There's no negative connotation about it. There's no hate behind that. There's no assignment of selfishness. There's no assignment of division when they advocate for themselves. But when we advocate for ourselves, people got a problem. And I'm saying those people, bump those people. I don't care about those people. What I'm talking about is Al Sharpton, Roland Martin. I'm talking about Congressional Black Caucus. Shit or get off the pot. Your time is up. Stop picking up Black money to go advocate for everybody who ain't Black. Stop using our currency. Stop using our name. When they talk about the woke shit, well, they're really talking about you manipulating fuckers, using Black people's suffering to try to help everybody with some bullshit. That's really what they're saying. And that's what's got everyone tired. It ain't even just about Black Americans. It's about how you tie everything to us to try to help them. I'm just tired of this shit. I'm fed up with it. And now you want to advocate for people that ain't even American. Well, damn it, that's too far. That's the bridge way too damn far. All right? That's too far. You done jumped out the gym. You done used black suffering, Black pain, Black civil rights struggle, all that shit to help every group in America. Now you want to help people that ain't even Americans. Well, god damn. When is enough, Johnson? And when are some Black people going to stand with me on this? When are some white people going to stand with me on this? This is some bullshit. Using Black currency, Black pain, Black American pain, Black American legacy, Black American civil rights, all this shit to help people, and these people ain't even Americans. Nah. I'll say it for y'all. Al Sharpton, shut the you too, Roland, and two times, Congressional Black Caucus, you can kiss my ass.